So apparently most human beings can see clearly through both of their eyes. And that's pretty neat. Unfortunately for me, I can't really relate. Say we were to split the screen in half, and this side would be your right eye, while this side would be the left. Apparently, this is how most people see the world. Well, for the most part. Vision can wax and wane, and that's why people need things like glasses and contacts. So, using the power of editing, camera movement, and Lego, let me try and show you how I see the world. Yeah, so this is how I've seen the world since I was young. The optometrists or eye doctors call it amblyopia, but the simpler term is called lazy eye. Now, I am 100% sure that I am not going to be able to explain this condition properly because, to be honest, I still don't quite fully know how to explain it. I did a research paper on this topic for health class in high school, got a 95 on the paper, and I still don't fully understand it. Or at least fully understand how to explain it. So instead, I'm gonna let Google explain it. So according to Google, amblyopia is decreased eyesight due to abnormal visual development. So nerve pathways between the brain and an eye aren't properly stimulated, causing the brain to favor the other eye. Think of it like this. Your brain is the teacher while your eyes are the students. And your brain is basically giving one eye an amazing A+, while the other eye is given an automatic fat F. That is basically the shenanigans that my brain has put my eyes through for my entire life. I do think there is something interesting in the way human vision works, though, because we as human beings will never quite know what it is like to see the world from another person's perspective. So in that instance, it's hard to know what seeing the world ought to look like. So growing up, I never realized I had an eye condition because I didn't know that there was something wrong with how I saw things. I remember being 5 or 6, running around my house while playing with my friends, stopping for 3 seconds and just thinking in bullet time. You know, it's kind of weird that when I look through my right eye, everything is super clear, but when I look through my left, everything is just blurry and I can't see anything. I immediately continued to run after my friends after thinking this, and just didn't give that thought another thought. Fast forward 2 years and I'm sitting at the optical center of Sam's Club with the rest of my family getting eye checkups. You know, my brother and sisters, they get through their checkups just fine, but for me, I am stuck there for maybe 45 minutes staring at this really stupid blurry house. This dumb house in the middle of a green field with a red roof. And, you know, the doctors would just keep saying, oh, do you see it as it, do you think it's clear? Do you think it's not clear? Is it showing up clear? Is this clear? And I'm just like, yes, no, it's not clear. And the entire time in my mind, I'm like, why is this such a big deal? And after that very long, frustrating amount of time, I remember at the very end of it, the optometrist saying to my parents, your son has lazy eye. Now, in life, I don't think it's ever easy to receive bad news, but as a kid, I think I handled bad news reasonably well, mainly because I didn't know that there was something wrong. But what I didn't handle very well was what came next. So apparently, the best way to treat a lazy eye is by using an eye patch. However, imagine covering the eye you've been seeing clearly out of for 6 years and downgrading to seeing the world like this. Not very fun. I would wear this eye patch inconsistently for a very long amount of time afterwards, while my parents tried to force me to wear this thing for the following years. Seriously, there was one time I was trying to play LEGO Star Wars 3 on the Wii, and my dad came into the room and was like, you need to wear your eye patch or you are going to go blind. So I was then forced to play LEGO Star Wars looking like this, and seeing the game like this. That's like watching a YouTube video and intentionally making the video quality 144p, except it's worse. You're basically just looking at moving blobs of color at that point. So clearly that solution wasn't the move. So the optometrists recommended the next best thing, I think. So for those of you that don't know, contacts or contact lenses are like if you take a glass part of glasses and then shrink it into a squishy small plastic thing that you then proceed to gently shove into your eye. And this was the tool that the eye doctors recommend I use to treat my lazy eye. But imagine being 7 years old and asking a 7-year-old boy to shove a small piece of plastic into his eye. And I guess, I don't know, that may sound simple to, place something into your eye, or maybe on my end it sounds pretty simple, but believe me, I can guarantee you it is quite difficult. In fact, the only reason I remember I was 7 when trying on contacts was because after that horrible afternoon of trying to put these lenses into my eye, I remember going home and playing with my Bionicle Mari figures. And the only reason that made sense is because the Mari line had basically wrapped up, and in like 3 months I got my Liwa Fantoka figure. But age and all that aside, I remember there were days when trying to put on those lenses was probably the hardest thing I had to do. I remember screaming at myself in the mirror, forcing my eyes open while trying to put this very small piece of vision-perfecting plastic into my gelatin spheres, with tears streaming down my face because it was literally just irritating my eyes. It literally took me 3 to 4 years before I finally learned how to properly put these things into my eyes. It really is not an easy thing to learn, especially as a small kid. But as much as I talk about all the difficult or interesting moments where my vision wasn't very fun, to put it simply, I don't think I ever let it negatively affect me. To be honest, I'm more grateful for it. I never grew up playing a ton of sports because, let's be honest, when you see the world like this, shooting 3-pointers or hitting a baseball going 90 miles per hour is going to be challenging. But because I couldn't really play a lot of sports, like a lot of my friends, or just a vast majority of kids, that really allowed me to put more time into LEGO, both building it and watching it. And where a lot of my friends have been inspired by the sports that they played or watched growing up, for me, it was watching LEGO YouTubers and playing with LEGO that inspired me. I still remember just being absolutely mind-blown when I watched Solid Bricks' video on his giant clone army, way back when he was still LEGO Boy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just trying to build some kind of clone army that honestly didn't even touch the number of clones that he had. To be honest, I think I lost most of my Phase 1 Clone Wars Clone Troopers, unfortunately. Also, outside of that, just watching a lot of LEGO reviews, because I never really had a lot of money to buy all of the LEGO sets coming out in the early 2010s, so to, I guess, experience the joys and rush of seeing what those sets were like, I just watch all those reviews. And they really have inspired me and affected me as a fan of LEGO and as the person that I am today. And I wouldn't have been able to have that time to invest into LEGO had I not seen the world the way I did. And so I do owe some part of my obsession with LEGO to the way that I see the world. And that obsession has also just spiraled into my passion to create things, whether that be LEGO or videos. So, yeah, that's the story or jumbled mess of thoughts on how I see the world, both through video, LEGO, and, I don't know, YouTube. And I don't really know how to properly cap this off, but yeah. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, I guess. Quick disclaimer, please seriously don't touch your eyes unless you're trying to put on a contact lens. There should be no other reason why you should be touching your eye. Leave it alone.